Get this going. Check the audio. Should say that you're live on the channel. There we go. Let's see how that sounds. Should say that you're live on the channel. Cool, cool, cool. Hey, C Rich, what's up, C Rich? So this probably looks a little different. I'm not hitting balls tonight. I'm actually regripping my clubs. And I thought, well, that might be kind of tedious and silly, but at least, you know, maybe somebody would learn something, or we could just see what the people are up to. So I turned the stream on. But if you guys are like, hey, dude, this is super boring, I just want to watch you hit golf balls, then that is okay, too. This is the tedious part, right? Trying to get all this tape off. Part that I hate the most out of this whole process. Jackson 2013 said hi. What's up, Jackson? Joseph, so why are we gay? I don't know, man. If you find the answer, though, let me know. Clumsy James said hi. What's up, Clumsy James? So most of these guys I already have ready to go, which is awesome. But I haven't done the tape yet. And I haven't done the new grips yet. So probably have time to get through as many as we have done. Lost Devin said, what are you doing, bruh? I am regripping these clubs. I got a whole stack. Check out this stack. This isn't even all of them. Just a whole stack of new grips. These are Tour Velvet Jumbos. Going up a size to the Jumbo. And we're also going to try putting... we can try it here. What club is this? This is a 9-iron. That's a good place to start. Some extra tape on the bottom hand to remove some of that taper. I already had that in my last set of grips, guys. But we're going to do it even another wrap. So we're going to go 2 wraps on the bottom hand for some buildup. Make sure I have one of these handy and my handy dandy grip tape. It's been a while since I've done this, but damn, that's cool. Ah, thanks very much, Lost Devani. Hope I got your name right. Should move that closer to me at some point so I could maybe actually see it. So, let's see what we're doing here. Yeah, it's close enough. Oops, and that's, okay, so this will be for the whole grip. Okay. And then that bottom hand, I'm going to do just about half. Right? And then this top layer comes off. Well, it's supposed to. Maybe we can do that part first. Nope, it doesn't want to. It says, not today, Satan. There we go. There we go, easy enough. Right, so that just wraps on like that. We're doing 2 wraps. Right. So 2 wraps on there. And then, whoa, over the top goes the bigger piece. C-Rich says gap between 52 and pitching wedge is 20 yards. Same with 9 to P-wedge. Any tips? Bungle says grip the shaft tight. Yeah, exactly. Hey, TV, what's up? Sorry, it only shows me the characters, but I don't know what's the appropriate way to say hello to our friends from, you know, Korea or Japan. I want to acknowledge that I see you. Swing your big wood. We can swing the big wood. Maybe after we get done with all this work. Okay, so just like that. Whatever's left on the end just gets wrapped up in there. And then here's the cool part, guys. Don't even have to use any of that pesky solvent stuff. We're just gonna, you know what, we might need some just for the very tippy tip, like that. Jordan, did you hit the gym today? I did not hit the gym today. What irons do you use? Good question, Q Hughes. We have the Tacoma 301 CB irons in the bag. All right, so we want these logo down, remember. Oops, just slide that on there. And then, guys, we just pop some air in here, some compressed air. And let's see if we can do this without making a mess here. Oh, that's my problem. This isn't going to be sturdy enough, I don't think, to push these on. Here, let's try it again. That's not going to work. Alright. Well, maybe we will. You know what? That got loud. We can just do it the old-fashioned way. That always works, too. And to do that, guys, what we do is get some of this solvent up in here. All right, along the grip. Kind of swish it around, get it all in there. Drop her down on there. And then, boom, easy enough. On she goes. Quick towel at the end. Boom, done. That's one grip done. So, like I said, the tedious part is taking them off and getting the tape off. That old tape is always a nightmare. Jordan says, how much do you weigh now? Like 175-ish? 170, somewhere in there. I don't weigh myself regularly, to be honest with you. If you ask me, I would say 6 feet 175 for my stats. Can you make it clap? I definitely can. Jordan, are you thinking of somebody else? Have we talked about this before? There you have it, guys. Pretty happy with how that one came out. Trying to think if there's anything I need to adjust for the next ones. No, not really. Don't you know what you've been told? Jack says, should I do lives? I haven't tried yet, but I made content. Want to know your honest opinion. Well, I don't know what your content's about, Jack, but my answer is always going to be yeah. You know, why not just give it a shot, right? I'll share that I did not ever think that live streaming would be kind of the bulk of my. I don't want to say the bulk of my audience, but you know, a lot of people watch the live streams, and certainly in terms of new subscriber growth, that's largely coming via the live streams, which is super cool. So shout out to you guys for continuing to show up for these videos for me, which is awesome. Q wants to try the 101 tees. Give him a try. I've been really impressed with the Tacomo experience, to be honest with you. You know, it's just it's a golf club. It's a piece of metal. And there's only so many ways you can, you know, technologically improve it, is my opinion. So for the price, it's definitely worth a look, I'd say. I really want to make sure I get these right. Stick in there. Okay. Nice. Just give that a little wrap. Let's see. Jack says golf. Oh, amazing. Only 13 more to go. Yeah, I know. That's the tough part, right? Yeah, I think definitely give it a try. I think you won't. There's, you know, if you don't try, well, you know it won't work. And if you do try, you never know what might happen. Right? So right, we always, you know, in our brain, we're always so quick to be like, well, what's the worst case thing? What could go wrong? Right? But don't forget, there's always a scenario, there's a chance. Doesn't, you know, it could be a low chance, right? If I said like I want to be an astronaut tomorrow, say, well, a lot of work to do. It could be pretty tough. But if you don't try, then you know that you'll fail, or you know you'll never get to have the opportunity to maybe succeed, right? So that might, you know, lead you to pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone potentially, right? I'll also share, Jack, if it helps, that this, when I first started doing these live streams, talking in front of people, is extremely uncomfortable for me. People that don't know me personally would be like, that guy? I mean, he's like full of social anxiety. What are you talking about? Which is still true. You know, I'm not the best at like making new friends or talking to people in social settings. So people are often surprised when I tell them that I do this. And the real answer is I just knew that it was something I was interested in doing, making content and potentially, you know, spending more time in golf. Right? And I knew that the only way to do that, right, was to just start. Like, if I never started, then I knew it wouldn't work, right? Here's the risk. If you don't use enough of that solvent, you can get yourself stuck. Like I'm hoping I haven't done here. There we go. Oh, okay. We'll get there. Always use enough solvent. If you learn one thing from watching this live, you're like, hey, maybe I'll think about doing my own grips. You saw how easy that first one went on. I thought I was back in form. You know, like I've been doing this before. Let's see. Try the air compressor if it's stuck. Yeah. The only problem is I don't really want to mess up the good grips. There we go. Look at us. Shout out to the chat. It's almost like I should have thought of that. Man, I'll tell you what, guys, we have had some very strange... I was wearing pants this morning because it was cold, and now it's humid and... nice. What do we got next? 52 degree. Hey, Adventure Brothers says they broke 90 for the first time today, guys. Shout out to Adventure Brothers. Give him some props in the chat. Shout out to you, my dude. That is extremely cool. You're welcome, Jack. Shout out to C. Rich, helping us get these grips back on. Also, I'll tell you, use like a table. Don't use a sawhorse. This is a temporary solution so that I could do this on the stream, but yeah, would not recommend long term. All right. My gender transition surgery did not go well. Okay. Casey Roy, yeah, shout out to Adventure Brothers. Breaking 90 for the first time. That's an exciting accomplishment. That's what golf's about, right? Pushing yourself, trying to get a little better. Maybe learn something, right? And now you have a new goal. You can try to break 80 next. I remember, I think I've done them all. I don't think I'm going to break 60. But yeah, I remember where I was, what course I played, you know, when I broke 90 for the first time, when I, oops, almost got ahead of ourselves. Got to do the bottom hand first. I'm not sure why the bottom hand needs to be done first, but it's what I've been led to believe. Yeah, so you'll definitely remember today. You know, that first time breaking 90. You'll remember your first time breaking 80. You'll remember the first time you break 70. I still have some of those golf balls in a closet somewhere, you know, from some of those days, or like tournaments I won. I, you know, would write the date of the tournament on it and what I shot. Whoa. Trying to keep this, you try to keep this tape as smooth as you can. Right, guys? You don't want wrinkles or bubbles in your grip all up in there. All right, so we do that. Some of this in here. Here's the key part. Here's what I missed. You gotta really give it a good little shake in there. There you go. And typically, guys, I'd say you want to let these dry for a few hours, if not at least overnight. That's ideal. See a little bit of extra tape there, right? So what I'll do in that case is got the hook one in there at the moment, but just grab a knife or a blade. And boom, nice and clean. You could, also what I didn't do is just measure the tape more carefully. Gutter Boy says, what's your day job? I work in consulting, which is as specific as I will venture to be. And I will say I work in the nonprofit sector, which is important to me. I started my career in like private equity finance world, and it's very lucrative. You can learn a lot of things, but broadly speaking, I was not a huge fan of ultimately working in that world, and you could say its impact on the future. So I rather abruptly changed careers into the nonprofit side of things, and it's been going great. It's also, as you might imagine, not working in finance, I have much more free time to do things like, you know, live stream and hang out with you guys, make golf content, play golf. So it's been an awesome change all the way around. Dakota says, I remember my first par. That's awesome. What's up, Aiden? I've seen you on the stream a whole bunch. What's up, my dude? How to fix hook with iron. So the hook is because of the path being slightly, not a ton, but slightly too far to the right, and the face being shut. Aiden, if you have a second, open up another browser, open up your Google search, and just for me, type in the ball flight laws of golf, right? And there's some awesome graphics. You can even go to just the images for ball flight laws, and it'll really help you understand like what combination of face and path angle are producing the shots that I'm seeing, right? And I think everyone who's serious about improving their golf swing should understand, like, okay, if I hit a push, a straight push, one that just starts to the right of target and stays there, right? It's not cutting or drawing from there. What happened? And because I know the ball flight laws, I can tell you that you delivered at impact a face that was square to the path, but that path was to the right of target, right? So that ball's not curving, but it is starting right of target. So that's just a push, right? To get that ball to draw, you would need to close the face, right? Have it end up somewhere in between the path and the target line. That's how we produce a draw. And if you're hooking the ball, right, it could be that maybe your path is to the right, but your face at impact could be left of target, right? It could be overly closed. That's a possibility. That could produce the hook. So I think it's a great idea for everybody to, you know, at least have a somewhat rudimentary understanding of the ball flight laws, right? And if I see a slice, one that pulls to the left to start and then slices back to the right, well, you'd know from looking at that image that you have a path that is to the left of target and a face that is open, you know, overly open relative to both the path and the target. I think that's going to be really good. I like these a lot. Full on jumbo grips. Who would have thought? Whew. What if you toe hook it from the bulge and roll? Well, then you know that it's just because of strike, right? So again, the ball flight laws assume none of that, no bulge and roll, or, you know, gear effect, right, is what we're looking for. Irons, well, unless you have Bryson's irons, do not exhibit gear effect. And that's another good one to touch on, right? Like, what do I mean by gear effect? Understanding, guys, that because of the way drivers are shaped, if a toe strike will cause the ball to curve more right to left, and a heel strike will cause it to curve more left to right, you know, back towards the center. That's why they're designed that way. There we go. Making some progress. Got a Titleist U500 2-iron. Need help hitting it straighter and further. What if I hook the ball with an open face? Well, then I'm not sure how you've done that. Sporty Boy said hi. What's up? Why are you gripping your wedges upside down? I'm gripping them upside down. I'm going to grip them all this way because I want to see the I put the logo down, right? So that when I hold it in front of me, right, that logo is underneath. I can't see it. I like that because sometimes, you know, I'll be choking down on the grip or, you know, moving my hands around. I don't like seeing something that's, you know, to me distracting. So I grip the clubs this way. Kimura said, hey, what's up? Okay, so the 2-iron, Maxon said hi. What's up, Maxon? Okay, so the 2-iron, you to hit it straighter, and if you're slicing it, then you got to get the face more closed. So I would practice, Aiden, just trying to hit some draws. You can tee it up and slow it down, especially with a longer club like a 2-iron, right? Make some little half swings, and just really feel like you can get that ball turning right to left some, right? What adjustments do you need to make, whether it's in your, how you set up to it, how you swing it, right? But you got to get that face more closed so that you can get that ball to stop curving so much left to right, you know? And further, right, there's only 2 options for further. It's more club head speed, so swing it faster. That's, you know, speed training in the gym, that sort of stuff, right? Build the engine, make the engine bigger. Or you can make it more efficient. You can, you know, make sure that you're contacting the center of the face and optimizing your launch and spin numbers to maximize the distance that you're achieving for the club head speed that you do have, right? But those are the 2 choices. Shout out to Sport Boy. What's up? Adventure Brothers says, I'm from Montana. The State Golf Association decided to give any high school golfer a free GIN number. GIN number. Is my handicap something I should worry about? No, you don't need to worry about it. It's good to track because it can give you an idea of your performance and allows you to, you know, benchmark yourself against other players. It allows you to, you know, you can play competitive matches, right? I play, you know, matches. I have 2 brothers, and they're both, you know, like high single digits handicaps, and you know, even though I usually play off close to 0 or like 1 these days, it allows us to still play awesome, you know, really competitive matches because they get, you know, to like 8, 10, 12 shots depending on the difficulty of the golf course. And so it is a cool way that golf allows you to do that, right? You know, you couldn't really play like there's nothing could happen tomorrow that would make it fun for me to go play basketball against NBA players, right? Like, you know, what are they going to do? Play with one hand or something like? But golf, you can, right? Because handicaps allow us to normalize skill levels. Now, I personally am of the opinion that at a certain point, it becomes pretty silly to play net matches, right? Like if I'm, you know, like I my personal opinion is that, you know, anyone below a handicap of like 0 or even 2 maybe should probably just play straight up, right? Like even if I personally, like if I was playing against someone who's a +5, right? I would still just play straight up, like, you know. I don't need to get 5 shots on somebody. I know what I can do. Adventure Brothers, I would not worry about it. Like, don't, you know, just because your skill level isn't maybe like as advanced as somebody who's been playing for longer, right? You know, if your handicap isn't super low, it's totally fine. It's just it's a barometer for where you're at. Click said hi. What's up? What's up, Clicks? Caleb says, any wrist exercise recommendations? That's an interesting question. So the ones that I've seen the most, like Mike Malaska has a pretty good warm-up video. He's a big proponent of like warm up the same every single time so that your body feels the same and your swing feels the same. I don't go quite to that extreme, but the ones that he does, right? You could grab a club or 2 clubs or 3 clubs depending on your strength level. Let's grab 2 of these to start, right? And you could hold them like this and strengthen your wrists with just this kind of movement, right? Using the clubs for resistance. And this could, you know, help to strengthen that rotational movement in the wrist that the golf asks of us, right? And similarly, you could do the same thing, holding your arm down by your side, right? And lifting them up this way. So that's what I got for you for that question. But it's a good question. Shout out to One List G Money. Sport Boy said, you're good at golfing. I subscribed. Amazing. Shy said, love your tattoos, bro. Oh, thank you very much, Shy. I appreciate that. It's been very, I'll share, it's been very mixed sometimes, you know, because I make golf content, right? But I'm also a heavily tattooed person. Those things tend not to overlap all that much, right? You know, people see me sometimes like at the range and they're like, oh, this guy must be a 14 handicap because his swing looks okay, but like there are no good golfers, you know, look like that. Well, maybe I'm just the only one, but I don't think that's true. I've seen some other really cool, like really good tatted up golfers. But so anyway, we're out there. But I appreciate the nice comment, Shy, because like I said, it's been mixed, we could say. Or people be like, you probably wear those sleeves to cover up your tattoos. And I'm like, no, dude, I cover my skin because I don't want cancer. It was crazy to me how many pro-cancer people were commenting on the sunscreen video I made. Like, what a crazy thing to write on the internet. Be like, I think there should be more cancer. In case it's not super clear, guys, you should definitely wear sunscreen all the time. Protect yourself from the sun. There's not really a meaningful debate. We know that radiation from the sun will cause cancer in humans. And even if you have dark skin, remember, we all love Bob Marley. Melanoma got him at 36. People forget. So the sun does not discriminate. If you have human DNA, the sun can and will damage it. All right, so that's I'm getting off my soapbox about the sunscreen, but that was crazy to me. Caleb said, really appreciate it. Boomers from Working Bum, what's up? Any clip to help with scooping, getting closer to compression? Yeah, we can talk about that, Shyman. Fox said, nice, you're over 2K subs now. You're growing fast. Thanks very much, Fox. That's trash AF. Okay, Bill said hi. Bob Marley was half white, bro. Okay. Still a human. Still has human DNA. You're not going to convince me. I'm going to keep wearing sunscreen. Yeah, these grips feel great. I can't believe... I used to have these standard grips. Oh my god. Feels like a little pencil. That feels awful. Really enjoying the switch to the bigger grips. All right, time for the big one, guys. The driver. The smoke wagon, if you will. Okay, so your question about scooping and getting closer to compression. Let's talk about that super quick. So what you are telling me is that you're maybe flipping it a little bit into impact, right? You're getting an impact position that looks maybe something like this, right? If you're really kind of throwing the club this way, it can get kind of scoopy, right? Adding loft at impact. I'm kind of exaggerating, obviously, right? But that's what you're describing, right? And what do we want instead? We want the complete opposite. We want the handle forward, and we're kind of driving that angle into the ball, into the ground, right? So, wow, it already feels weird. This is a mid-size with the 1+1. But anyway, yeah, so to work on that, right, what you need to work on is getting into that impact position with the handle forward, hitting down some on the ball, right, and your hips slightly open, some amount open to the target, right? Those are the key things that we want for impact. So what I would do is just really slow it down and get yourself into that position more often. Try to learn what it feels like, right? So a drill I do is I'll set up to the ball, and then I'll preset that position, right? Like, what do I want to look like at impact, right? And I can hit hit 50% little half shots from that, right? Boom. You can do the same drill, but without the preset, right? And just make little half swings and really focus on keeping that handle forward, right? Trying to maintain more of that angle in your wrist into impact, right? Because if you're throwing it, you're losing all of it, right? All the speed's gone by the time you get to the ball. So what you want to feel is more holding this angle longer, right? So that when you do get to the ball, you can go boom, right? Really unload that angle. That's how you create speed and compress the ball. So a couple drills there. Give those a try. Golf is kind of gay, though. Yeah, maybe. I think everything could be if you think about it. Also, what's wrong with that? 9 through 5 go the same distance. So, Jonathan, my guess is... Oh, okay, I misunderstood your question, Stuttering Steve. I'm proud of you. Keep doing it. Thanks, Mitchell. Clash said, what's up? Bill said, what's up? What's up, guys? It's called chili dipping. Yep. Do you have any recommendations for left-handed golf clubs? Not specifically. I'll speak to my experience, and I'm obviously right-handed. TaylorMade has been really good to me in the woods department for a really long time, and the putter too. Vokey wedges are awesome. You can definitely get Vokey wedges in left-handed. What else? I've got Tacoma irons in the bag that I'm really liking. I had TaylorMade blades before that. A friend of mine who's left-handed has had really good experience with Titleist woods, and he plays Mira irons, so that's kind of a whole nother animal. But I know Mira makes beautiful golf clubs if you're interested. Okay, so Jonathan, 9 through 5 go the same distance. What I think is happening is you're probably a little bit steep in your swing, right? And you're producing kind of that high spinny shot. Maybe you're fighting the slice sometimes. So, you know, that will, because as those clubs get longer and flatter, that will make it more difficult to produce a good strike in those longer irons. So what I would do is really make sure, do some drills like the one I just demonstrated to make sure that you're hitting the center of the face and that ball is flying pretty straight through the air. Right, and you can try, you know, the drill I like to do is I'll grab a 9-iron or a pitching wedge, and I'll truly try to hit it, you know, 30 or 40 yards in the air. Right, but I'm making sure that I hit the center of the face and I'm delivering a good strike. That ball's not overly curving. So I really think that's the best way to start, is learn impact and work backwards from there. Almost wrinkled it. That would have started over. Okay, there we go. I'll catch up in the chat here in a second, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me while I'm doing something slightly less interesting than hitting golf balls. But it's good to answer the questions and chat with you guys. Centrifugal force will unlock the wrists. Yeah, exactly. What's up, bro? Hey, Chase. Let me know if... Oh, I do owe you an email back. I'm glad you reminded me. We will definitely find a time to make that happen. It just might take a couple weeks until things are a tiny bit more chill for me personally. Oh, okay, we actually were fine. Better, guys, to make sure... Measure twice, cut once, right? Isn't that what they say? There we go. Okay, oops. It will definitely help the container catch the solvent if you place the grip over the container. Everybody hit the thumbs up button. Thanks very much, Chase. Chasing Golf. Chasing Golf is a cool channel, guys, if you want to check it out. Iron-wise, how much do you think pulling down from the front arm helps? It's done wonders in my game. If it's a good feel for you, Mike, then keep working with it. Fidel said hi. Hey, Fidel. Aiden says, any drill with alignment stick for the hook. Okay, so if you're hitting a hook, right? Ah, knocking things over. It's okay. All right, so you've got the alignment stick, right? And what I'm going to have you do is this is just going to be the opposite of the slice drill, right? So you'd grab your ball, and you're going to put the stick on the inside, right? And, you know, you can put it kind of back so the front of it is just there, right? And when you set up to it, wow, it feels really strange to hold a club with no grip on it, but we'll make it work. Right, so when you're hooking it, if you're coming too far from the inside this way, right, you're going to hit that stick. Because what you need to do is neutralize that path, right, get it more down the target line, so that when the face is square, you're not going to produce that big draw, that hook. Another one you could do is you could put the alignment stick out in front of you, like this, right, and then practice hitting some fades. Right? You know, teach yourself to start the ball on this left side of the stick and have it curve back to the right. Right? And just teach yourself those skills. Try to learn how to control the club and the face throughout the swing. Right? That, I think, ultimately will serve you even better than me saying, well, here's 2 drills, and when you hook it, do these drills, and you won't hook it anymore. Right? Which we could do. But I think it's more beneficial to say, hey, here's some ways that you can teach yourself to build these skills. After all that, I still managed to do that. All right, so we're going to go like this. Little shaky shake. Boom. Go. Nothing to it, guys. And now that I have the driver set in a different position, the grip will actually be logo down, which I'm super excited about. It was starting to really irritate me, seeing it on the side all the time. Wow. It's everything I've ever wanted a grip to feel like, frankly. I'm excited to hit some balls with these. New grips on here soon, guys. All right, sorry, let me catch up here. Do you use Tacomo irons? They are legit clubs, Steve. I have them in the bag. These are the 301 CBs. They honestly are beautiful golf clubs. I was playing a True Blade before, you know, a TaylorMade MB iron. And this is a CB model, so it's slightly more forgiving, a little more perimeter weighting, which is why I went to these. But having said that, they're really solid. They're really, really solid. They look good. They feel good. It's a forged iron. Well, at least the 301s are. I don't know about the 101s or the 201s. Those might be cast clubs. But in my experience playing these, I have been very impressed. Especially the heel to toe and the minimal offset. I'm a huge fan of. Just the shape of it. I'm pretty particular about the look of the club, and once I saw them and was like, wow, those look pretty good. I might give them a try. And then I did. They definitely have accomplished what I wanted to. John says, love the hat. Thanks very much, John. Golf requires the same smooth swing with every club. Change club lengths for different distances. Learn power swing after you get the smoothness and accuracy you desire. That's great advice, Dakota. So thought process, bring in club back at start of swing, like 12 inches on ground, then bring club up. So good question. Let's talk briefly about just kind of backswing basics, right? I like to break it into two pretty simple pieces. The first one, we're trying to maintain some width, right? So a good feel for that is to try to keep the club low to the ground on the way back, right? That will stretch out this width, right? You want to keep that club head far away from you until the shaft is about parallel, right? We want the club somewhere like that. And then from there, we turn and the club hinges up, right? That momentum that we put into the club, as our hands stop and that club head's still moving, that increases that angle, right? That creates that lag, right? So if you were to break it into two pieces, it would be, wide to here, and then, hinge and turn, right? But the wrist is mostly happening just because of the weight of the club, right? The hands stop moving, but the club is still moving, right? And then we do the same thing where and then release it at the bottom, right? How often do you regrip the clubs? I usually regrip my clubs like every couple of years. I'm regripping them right now because I am changing the grips. So at the beginning of this season, I started using the mid-size grips with some extra tape under the bottom hand, and I was like, oh, this is great. This is definitely better. I like this a lot. Until recently, I was like, you know what? I need the same thing, but even more of it. So we went from mid-size to jumbo, and as you guys have seen while I'm regripping these, I have been putting 2 extra pieces of tape under that bottom hand, for me, the right hand, right, in an attempt to, remove a lot of that taper. So I'm hoping that these grips won't need to be changed again for a couple years. Although, if I play more golf, I might need to change my grips more, which would be a perfectly okay outcome, right? Because it means that we would be playing more golf. What's a good set for beginners? Oh, good shout out from Chasing Golf. Good to know. Appreciate the info. Personally using the PGM. Nice stand bag, under 500. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, good shout. Bro, you look and sound like my supervisor, Skylar, huge into golf as well. Shout out to Skylar. And shout out to you, Legend, for dropping a comment. If you guys are enjoying the stream, like these guys, feel free to hit that like button. Or if you're feeling really frisky, then subscribe to the channel. Like Fox FMX was giving us a nice shout out earlier. We've smashed through 2,000 subs recently. We're almost to like 2,300 now, which is just insane. Large part because of you guys, right? Shout out to the live stream crew for really being the driving force behind all of that growth. A little sneak behind the curtain, right? Like a really good short. Like if I make a great short and it gets 50,000 views, that's not great. That's not like viral or anything, right? But that's, for a small channel like me, that would be a lot of views on a short. That might get like, 9 new subscribers if it's a good short, right? But a good live stream could be over 100, right? Over 100 new subscribers sometimes. So that's a little sneak peek behind the curtain. Kind of some of the data and, all the stuff that YouTube telling me. What about now? Check, check, check. Check, check, check. All right, well, it's back. Sorry about that, guys. I feel like we just dropped the connection for some reason. Hopefully people will fill back up in here, but you know, if not, it's okay. I don't know what happened. The connection seems fine. I feel like YouTube just got mad and was like, "You gotta chill out, man, with all this positivity." All right. Sorry about that, guys. Can you hear me now? Hopefully it's better. Never seen a golfer with sleeves. Yeah, we are in the heavily tattooed category. It's funny. I don't notice it, right? Because I just walk around like this all the time, and I see other people that are heavily tattooed, and I'm like, man, that's a heavily tattooed person. Not thinking ever that that's also how the rest of the world is looking at me, but that's okay. I think you should feel comfortable to be yourself in 2025. The world is hard enough as it is. We don't need to make it harder for people. All right, guys, making progress on the grips. We're probably halfway there. Yeah, that's nice. Just little things around the edges, trying to... Beckman says, regripping is tedious but worth it. Yeah, I agree with that comment. I definitely agree with that comment. Especially now because... Boy, I'm pretty sure that was the last of the clubs that I had ready to go. So now we're going to have to get these out, get these guys ready. Oh. That little hooked blade makes it much easier. Definitely would recommend that. And what I also will often do... come on, guy. Just hit it with a little heat. This helps loosen up that adhesive on the tape. Putt King said, great tips. Thanks. You're welcome. I jabbed myself with the club grip blade by accident. Oh, yeah, don't do that. I would not recommend trying trying one of those blades against your hand. I feel like the blade would win. All right. Just give it a little of this guy to get her started. Because ideally, right, you want it to just peel off. I mean, it's going to still be kind of tedious, but with the heat, it just comes off nice and clean. If you use a scraper, which I have before, that also works, but you end up with a whole bunch of, you know, little pieces and flecks you got to deal with, right? See how that just came off nice and clean in a few pieces? You know, they're not all that easy, but that's always been my go-to method. Pop that off. Hit it with the heat. And guys, we will, in subsequent streams, be back to our normal programming where we're, you know, hitting balls and doing drills. We've still done some of that tonight. But this guy is really on his last legs. Oh, oh. There we go. Hey guys, Braun said hi. What's up, Braun to Shifty? Shout out to you guys. We got a lot of returning commenters and viewers in the stream tonight. Satisfied customers, if you will. People that have seen the stream or the videos and say, hey, I want to go check out some more of that. That is the best compliment that I could get, guys. So thank you very much if you are one of those returning viewers. And if you're a new viewer, shout out to you. Hopefully you are getting something entertaining or interesting or new out of this. And even if it's just like, yo, I watched this crazy tatted up golfer regrip clubs for 5 minutes. That's cool too. So yeah, this bit, guys, as you might imagine, is when it gets, you're just like, oh, enough already. But if you want to do it right, try to get all these little old pieces off so there's no gunk. And there's just something satisfying about it. If you're going to do the project yourself, try to do it right, you know? My grandfather taught me that. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. D1 said they just subbed. Amazing. If you guys are enjoying the stream like D1, you want to hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out. Mike says, my 18 handicap just went down. That's awesome, Mike. Amazing. You must have played really well. Is it good to be 13 and a 2 handicap? Yeah, that's great. I think, as you know, I'm more in the camp of just get out and play, get out and enjoy the nature, if possible, right? If you're having fun shooting 110, then more power to you. Just do it quickly. You know, if you're not holding things up. There's no good or bad handicaps, guys. It's just a measure of your skill level. And different people have different skill levels at everything. Right, I'm a really good golfer, but a terrible cook. Right, that's maybe a bad example. I can cook okay. But I'm a terrible basketball player, right? My basketball handicap would be 30. You know? It's just a measure of your skill level. It's not a good or a bad thing. And it also changes over time, right? I've been a 4 handicap, and I've been a plus 1.5 handicap. Whoa, that does get hot. That is the idea. Like I said, to use the heat to defeat the adhesive. But be careful not to burn yourself. Ah! We've nearly got it. Come on now. Come on now. What you'd love to have happen is just have the whole thing come off in one big piece. That happens like maybe 1 in 10 times, but that's the best when you can just get it nice and cleanly off of there. Who else is hanging out in this stream? What about a 6 or 7 handicap? Do you only use TaylorMade? Love your channel. Thanks, Levi. No, I have these Tacoma irons. I've got some Vokey wedges. However, I will say this. If TaylorMade wants to sponsor the channel, I would consider using some other clubs. You want to bring me out to the kingdom and we can get all the right stuff? I would have a field day at the kingdom, having spent a lot of time, you know, back in the day learning about equipment and building my own equipment. Let's try another way. So no, I've got the Vokey wedges. I've got these Tacoma irons. I've definitely tried other equipment over the years. I just have had very consistent results and an experience with TaylorMade. And so much of it is aesthetic too, right? I just, my eye does not care for a lot of the other OEM's shapes. I would say if I didn't play TaylorMade, I would play Titleist. To my eye, that's like second best. Come on now. Oh, this is a good one, guys. Oh, we had it. I thought we had it. Trying to get it all in one piece. So that's my experience with TaylorMade. And plus, I just I found that staff bag a long time ago for a great price, and I've moved it all over the place, brought it with me, and I think it's pretty cool. I like it as like a den caddy, or, you know, like in this kind of temporary space to hold some extra clubs. But TaylorMade's great, good customer service. I wish they had replaced my last driver, but it was out of warranty, so what are you gonna do? You guys saw, some of you guys saw that video with the face cracking on the Stealth 1. Oh, one more. And then we got a couple more woods to do too. Those are a little trickier. Okay, how do you feel about Mizuno? I played Mizuno irons a little bit. Which ones did I have? The JPX, the 919s. One of those. Handicaps are there for a reason. I shot 10 under, beat a 10 handicap. Fish, what's up, Fish? TaylorMade's my favorite, but only have a few. Strixon or bust. I used to play the Strixon golf balls. I was a big fan of those, and I think Strixon makes some awesome looking irons. Criminally underrated irons, even. The Strixons. There's a lot of good stuff out there, guys. I mean, we're fortunate to live in an era where there's tons of equipment out there. You know, there's places you can get fit. Information is readily available, right? So, you know, find what works for you. I think there are, you know, there's a reason why certain brands are known for certain things, right? TaylorMade drivers and woods, the Titleist like irons and wedges. You know, Mizuno irons, right, have been really well known for a long time. I don't care for how they look, but I know people that play the Ping brand religiously and rave about the performance. So I know the Ping equipment is good. They make some really good putters, too. There was a PLD Answer putter that I loved way back in the day. That was a beautiful forged putter. All right. Making progress. Cleveland wedges from Charleston Chew. Good shout there. Yeah, drop in the comments if you have like a brand, you know, like Ping drivers are the best, or, you know, something that you think is criminally underrated. Drop it in the chat. Fish says, I am Bryson DeChambeau. They say TaylorMades are forgiving. I'm in New England, Levi, up north. Go out and hit without grips. Test of a true golfer. That's funny. Is regripping easy? Would you recommend? Because my driver's super bad, but scared to regrip. Thanks for fixing my slice a few days ago. Works like a charm. Oh, it's awesome. I'm really glad that you came back to share your experience. We've had other folks do that and say, hey, that drill that you were talking about, or I tried that tip that you told me and it really worked. And that to me is super, super validating to say, like, not only am I, you know, on the right track as far as articulating these ideas and you know, sharing some drills that work, but the outcomes are good, right? You guys are saying, hey, I went and tried it, and I came back, and it really works. Like, my swing is better. That's great. Oh, to answer your question about the regripping, it's easy in the sense that it's not difficult, but it is tedious. Like, to do 14 clubs, start to finish, you know, even if you're really good at it, could still take a couple hours. So if I wasn't, you know, hanging out, chatting with you guys, right, I'd probably, like, put on a movie or a podcast, something to, So definitely a tedious process, right? Especially this part. I don't mind the rest of it so much. It's getting the tape off that just drives me absolutely nuts. Yeah, like these little bits, I'm just like, come on, miss. Just come off of there. We're trying to get some new grips on here, right? They don't care. The old clubs, the old tape. Picked Clean said hi. What's up? Rock Sox says, I'm not brand biased. You have a lot of ping in the bag, iron driver putter. Got to stick with the Vokey wedges, though. Agreed. Say my slice goes to the left like 50 yards. How might I approach fixing that? So, Fish, are you a left-handed player if you're saying your slice goes to the left? I assume so. But let's make sure. Is he reading this chat? Oh, yeah, I'm reading the chat. Sorry, it just takes me a second sometimes, and I got to catch up, and I'm slow. But we're still working about this. I'm blind. I see the vice now. Oh, yeah, we definitely need a vice. Had the Kirkland signature wedges for a year now. Very happy with the performance. That's awesome. Okay, so Fish is a lefty struggling with a slice, right? So the fix is the same, whether you're lefty or righty. But your slice, I'm going to guess, is probably caused by some amount of an over-the-top or steep swing, right? And the good news is that there's some easy drills you can do to work on that. So I'll try to demonstrate left-handed, right? I'm not a left-handed player, but don't make fun of me for trying to help. Okay, so if you're slicing as a lefty, right? Your path is across it, and the face is open, right? Pointed to. That's how you get that slice ball, right? So what I want you to do is grab a head cover, right? Like from your driver. Drop it down. For you, it's going to be outside and just behind the ball, right? Like that. And what this is going to do is physically block your path to the ball if you do make that slice kind of swing, right? So if you bring the club inside and then over the top steep this way, right, you're gonna hit that head cover. You won't be able to get to the ball, Fish. So when you put that head cover there and you learn how to hit shots without your club hitting the head cover, right, where you're approaching it more from the inside this way, right, once you learn to get that face closing, that path, right, the inside one, the shallow one, will really straighten out that ball flight, make it much easier. You should see that slice really get under control. So give that one a try for me. Holy, I'm about to be Tiger Woods after he helps me. That's exactly right. I wish you were. If you are Tiger Woods after this stream and you want me to caddy for you, we can do that. I hit AP2s. That's awesome. Oh, yeah, Twig. Joseph said hi. Hey, Joseph. How do you get a teenager to hit the ball further? I'm lefty as well. Okay, so guys, if you want to hit the ball further, right, whether that's with driver or a wedge, right, there are two choices. Choice number one is increase your club head speed, right? That means swing the club faster You can do that with speed training, right? I have these super speed sticks that I use sometimes. There's one called the Stack. There's a bunch of these, right? That's speed training. You can do that just with your own driver, you know, like a workout. You could go hit 50 full swing drivers and just practice swinging as fast as you can. And if you do that over a long period of time, right, you'll increase how fast you can swing. So that's option 1, swing the club faster. Option 2 is optimize your launch conditions. So you can hit the ball further with the same club head speed. I'm going to use driver as an example, right, because that's what we're generally talking about with hitting it further. You can launch the ball higher into the air with less spin, and that ball will carry further at the same club head speed, right? So to do that, you would optimize your launch. You know, get on a launch monitor, make sure that you're launching it at, I don't know, 13, 14 degrees up into the air, and you are, you know, the RPMs are somewhere in the low 2000s, right? So you could do that to optimize. But those are really the two choices. Thanks for leaving me out in the dust, Twigadelphia. You're going to have to help me out, Mike. I'm not following you completely, but if there's, maybe you're just chatting with somebody else in the stream and I didn't see the messages. But yeah, I think some combination of both those things is the path forward, right? You know, learn what you can do to swing the club faster if that's something that, you know, if you feel like distance is something you could improve on. It is a skill, right? We need to build that skill of speed. It's the same way, you know, you can have skill in reading the green or, you know, hitting your irons really well. And like those other skills, you can practice it. You know, I would recommend maybe more in the off season, but do some dedicated speed training. Say, hey, I'm going to spend a month and, you know, find one of these programs and do a bunch of speed training and see how much progress I can make. Right? Because once you're optimized, then you're optimized. You can't get any better than that, right? So once you are, you know, you do have, oh, I did it again. I did the big one first. Let's see if we can, yeah, just go like that. There we go. Get to yammering on, and I forget what I'm here to do. So my point is, once you're, you know, launching it correctly and not spinning it too much, then from there, the only path forward is more speed. So I think it's not a bad idea to do both. Does that make sense in your distance question? Oh, no worries, Mike. Why do I draw all my irons beautifully, but banana slice my dumb driver? Worst club in my bag by far, lefty. Okay, we got a lot of lefties tonight. Shout out to the lefties. Okay, so if you're hitting the irons nicely, but the driver is really slicing, right? My guess, I would really, you know, ideally like see you hit balls or swing the, you know, an iron and a driver to have a good sense. But my guess is that you might be, you know, bringing your very effective iron swing, right? One where you are compressing the ball, hitting down on it some amount, right? All the things that we want in a nice iron swing. But if you try to do those things with a driver, you could end up getting overly steep and producing, you know, a slice that's kind of hard to control, right? Just from that angle of attack. Like I said, sometimes it goes that way, and you just start fresh. I came in too late. What grips is he switching to? So I'm putting on some Jumbos. These are Jumbo Tour Velvets. And I'm putting 2 extra wraps on the bottom hand in an attempt to reduce the taper, right? Come on, tape. Why are you being difficult on this one? Oh, it's always the way. We're like most of the way done, and then they start trying to be finicky. All right, that's better. Is Jumbo the size? Yeah, Jumbo is the size. Golf Pride. These are Golf Pride grips. Golf Pride Tour Velvet Jumbo. All right, pretty standard. They're starting to make a lot steam. Oh, picking up steam. I understand what you're saying. All right. Mr. Chads, when I want to practice my swing, I just play around instead. Oh, I get it. Okay, so Mr. Chads, I am putting grips on these clubs. New grips, if you will. All right, and then you guys know the drill. A little bit of solvent on here. Solvent goes in the grip. Shake it around. And then just towel her off, and she's done. Hopefully that's the most painful one we have to do tonight, and the rest are smoother. Like I said, guys, definitely a tedious exercise, but a worthwhile one. This must be an 8-iron, yep. That's nice. Typically, I think they would tell you to let them dry overnight, but, you know, a few hours usually fine. I did get extra grips so that I could do some of the backup clubs, but we'll probably do those another day. Simply because of the time. Early start tomorrow for your boy. Fatter bottom hand, more control. Yeah, exactly. Just for me, once I tried it, I learned that just having less of that taper felt like I could, you know, really get the grip. You know, it just felt better. I don't know how else to say it. You know, taking some of that taper out and really just feeling like more of the grip is in my hand. And as someone who has struggled historically with too much right hand from the top in my swing, it really helps to take out some of that ability to throw it at the bottom. Ha, that is funny. Hey, Simon, what's up, Simon? Shout out to Simon, saying hi in the chat. Nice. Boom. That's what it should look like when everything goes the way it's supposed to. Oops. There we go. Boom. Regrip 6-iron. One thing I haven't considered is it might get kind of difficult getting these clubs in and out of a golf bag with these thick-ass grips on them. Why do you feel like your grip is lighter with the larger grips? I do feel like it makes it easier to have less tension in the grip. I absolutely do. I noticed that so at the beginning of this season, it's probably only been 4 months, but I went from standard to mid-size. I played standard size grips with 1 wrap pretty much my whole golfing life, guys. And so it's a little crazy to be... see, some of these are just really difficult, and I don't know why. Just gotta keep it moving. Here we go. Appreciate you guys all sticking around to hang out while I get through this somewhat tedious work. But like I said, we'll be back to the regularly scheduled, practicing, answering questions, helping you guys with your swings kind of programming And also exciting, my wife and I are just about to move into our new house. So we're going to have a new space to be streaming from and find a place to get all of our stuff set up so that we can keep doing what we've been doing with these live streams and hanging out with you guys. So that's exciting. Tell you what, buying a house, you will never have to do more paperwork in your life. Yeah. All right. What do we got left? Just a 3-wood and a 5-wood, I think. Haha. No shot, Dovey. Had my clubs extended for the first 2 years of my game. This year I had them chopped to normal and got mid-sized grips. That's awesome. Peman said hi. What's up, Peman? I help run a business. I know all about paperwork. Yeah, I know. It's the bane of everyone. So you went to shorter clubs, Mike. That's interesting. All right. One pitching wedge coming up. Also pretty exciting, guys. Next week I'm playing in a member guest tournament, a 3-day member guest at a pretty cool private club that it's going to have a brand new course opening, or just recently opened, and kind of debuting it at this big tournament. So I'm excited to play in that. See the redesigned course. And hopefully play some decent golf, you know? Always fun to play in a tournament setting where you gotta get the ball in the hole. Nice. That is how we want it to go. No, don't come apart on me now. You gotta stay like that. There we go. Oops. So yeah, guys, like I said, not the most exciting thing, but hopefully we still have been able to answer some of your questions and hang out for a bit. Shout out to you guys for coming through. Why do we double up the tape? So, Dovey, what I'm doing is I'm putting extra tape on this bottom hand here, just this part, right? So that there's less taper. You know, I put 2 extra wraps on this bottom hand, and it really helps me you know, have a little more feel, like that club's really in my hand. And it's the same idea if you've ever seen the Golf Pride MCC Plus 4 grips. Those have a reduced taper in them as well. Same idea. I'm just doing it by building up the tape. What makes blade so hard to hit? Good question. Just a smaller target, right? You know, the sweet spot's smaller. There's less perimeter weighting, so the off-center strikes, you know, if you miss that center of the face, will be punished more, right? They won't go as far. They'll go further offline, that sort of thing. Charleston says, inspiring me to regripping clubs. That's awesome. Dime Source says, what's your favorite club? My favorite club is driver. It's got to be driver. I thought about it for a second, but it's definitely driver. Andrew says, my brother hit me in the face with a 9-iron when I was 8. Oh my god, that sounds traumatic. I watch you, Grant Horvat, Full Send, and Bryson, but haven't gotten back on a course. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. And thank you for supporting the channel. That's super cool. Also, just to be mentioned in the same the same breath as like Bryson and Grant Horvat is crazy. So shout out to you for pumping up my ego a tiny bit for the night. Someday I would love to perform on YouTube at the level that those guys do, but they've really got it figured out. They have teams in place, resources, right? You guys, if you guys are supporting this channel, just know that all this stuff you see, be very careful if you're taking off grips on a graphite shaft. You don't want to score or cut that graphite, especially with a expensive shaft. So you see I just put a tiny little spot in there to get it started, and then I'll manually take it off the rest of the way. Might need a club for my brother's wedding. That's funny. No, Mike, these are standard length clubs, no extensions. Justin says, hello from Montana. Thanks for checking out the stream, Justin. You're better than Grant. I don't think I am. I think Grant's like a +4 handicap. But if you guys want to find out, go, you know, if there's enough traction, right? If the internet demands it, if they say we need to see John Young golf and Grant, there we go. Play a match, because, you know, the internet decided it needed to happen, then I'm sure it could happen. But I do think he's better than me. All right, so you want to be careful with the heat, but I'm going to do a tiny bit just to loosen up this tape here. And I did fractionally, just a tiny, tiny bit, do the thing I said not to do, right? Which is to let that knife dig into your graphite shaft at all. But that's very superficial. It's not going to do any harm. I think we would have a good match. I think it would be back and forth. I make a lot of, probably more birdies than Grant, maybe. I don't know. I make a ton more bogeys. Volatility. It's the name of the game. Up and down. Grant has a smooth swing. He definitely has a very smooth swing. How hard do you grip your irons? I try to feel like if you're on a scale of 1 to 10, right? My goal is to be at a 3 or a 4. So if 10 is, you know, as tight as you could squeeze the club, right, with every ounce of energy, and 0 is, you know, it would fall out of your hands if you let go, basically, or, you know, like a breath of wind could knock it out. I try to be at like a 3 on that scale. See, this is where the nightmares happen, right? All this tape that's got to come off. If you made him a 65-degree wedge, he might get you. Grant can drive the ball anywhere. Yeah, that's true. Not to mention his dad is a PGA pro. I looked it up before. Oh, well, that makes sense. I mean, if he's been playing golf his whole life. I didn't start playing golf till I was, like, in high school. Man. Let's see if we can do this. If we can get it to work. Got to do the candy cane strategy, right? Get it to just unwrap the whole way down. He can't drive the ball far. Mike says I started at 26. That's awesome, Mike. Yeah, I think the best day to start was yesterday. The next best day is today. Right? Because if you never start something, you never know what could happen. Huh. Good try there, Mr. H8. Boom. See that, guys? That's how you get it all at once. Whew. That one made us work for it. All right. Low heat. Mike fell for it. Yeah, I've had to learn. People will try to get you. They will try. What do they say? Stay frosty out there? You gotta stay frosty. I will say, I've been very happy the extent to which there's only been a handful of, commenters or people that I've really just been like, wow, you are so hateful. we gotta block you immediately and just, protect the stream from this nonsense. But maybe it's the golf part. There just hasn't been that much, like, toxic internet stuff. What the hell? Don't worry, Andrew. Shout out to you if you're a fisher checking out some golf stuff. The ones that I'm working on now, these purple ones, these are graphite. But the other ones that we were doing before, those are steel. They do make iron shafts that are graphite. You'd be hard-pressed to find a driver with a metal shaft in it nowadays, but that is how they made them. Like when Tiger first came out, he was playing with a steel shafted driver. And before that, I never did, but the clubs used to be made out of wood, persimmon. So we should all be happy that we get to use graphite shafts and titanium driver heads, right? Mike says, I love fishing. I have never been able to get into fishing. I've only caught a handful of fish ever. And I guess part of me is also like, if it's a nice day for fishing, it's a nice day for golf. Maybe I'm missing something, but I never had the patience, I don't think. I think you really need a lot of patience to appreciate fishing and be able to enjoy being out there and be like, you know what, I might not even catch a fish today. Right? Isn't that why they call it fishing, not catching? And, yeah, I don't know. For me, I just could never really get into it. But I see it on YouTube. I mean, there's a huge community of fishers and obviously a whole industry even, right? Of, you know, people working out there to catch fish for us to eat. I love sushi, so I'm not anti-fishing. Sushi's great. Just, yeah, if I had a free afternoon, nothing else to do, I would head to the golf course. Oh, we did it. It might have taken the better part of 2.5 hours, but we managed to get all the tape and grips off of 14 clubs. Now, I have bad news for myself, which is that there are more clubs to do, like that 2-iron back there. But you know what? We're just going to get these done for tonight. Do what we can do. How about that putt to finish the U.S. Open? Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. What's the best thing to do? Play it safe and hit a good shot, or risk it, try to crush it and hit a great shot? I always would say you'll play better golf if you hit shots that you really feel like you can pull off. Right? So if I'm ever standing over a shot being like, man, I don't know if I can even, like, if I have this one in the bag, I shouldn't try that shot. Right? So always, you know, play the percentages. Try to, you know, hit shots that you know you can hit. Are the shafts hollow? Yes, they are hollow, I think. But the shafts, you'll see all kinds of different shafts in clubs because they have different characteristics. And by that, I mean different like flex profiles and different parts of the shaft will be firmer or softer than others. They have different flexes, right? Mine are all what's called X flex. And that just is kind of a barometer. You know, the faster you swing, the stiffer shaft you'll need generally. You know, they also come in a variety of weights. You could imagine, you know, a 65-gram shaft performing very differently than a 90-gram shaft. So, yeah, you could go down a really crazy rabbit hole of golf equipment and shafts. There's tons of companies out there making them. There's tons of cool research and technology that goes into developing them. My favorite shaft of all time is the Diamana whiteboard. That is just an awesome, awesome shaft. But I got fit into these Oban shafts a few years ago, and I've really had a good experience with them. Why are you wrinkling, tape? Don't wrinkle. No need for that. There we go. Okay. Couple more. I did it again with not enough solvent. I should know better. So we'll use the air. That's gonna be loud for a minute. We should invent the perfect tape roller. Yeah, we definitely should. I need to study, but love the stream. Oh, that's awesome, Dobie. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. There we go. Just gotta pop her off. Give it another go. There we go. You'll learn. Some of them are just more fussy than others. All right, guys. One more grip to do for tonight. Let these all dry up. You know what I should do? I should do a what's in the bag video when I've got all the clubs out like this. It's not going to be tonight, but sometime we'll do it. Because I definitely need to do an updated what's in the bag for you guys. Aldilla shafts. I'm all my drivers. Oh, Aldilla's good. I remember those. This just shows how frustrating this can be. Yeah, exactly. Why are you using air? I'd use the air to get the grip off because we didn't use enough solvent. When Bryson talked about having a shorter shaft for his putter with a longer grip, is that pretty much what you're doing? Just making longer grips? Oh no, so I'm putting on bigger grips. These grips are thicker than what I had before. These are jumbo grips that I'm building up with some extra tape too. I had mid-size grips on before, the same ones though, so feel will be the same, all that stuff will be the same. Just, you know, sometimes you just need a nice thick feeling in your hands, you know? You know what I'm saying, guys. Bro looks like Luke Dean. I don't know who that is, but I'm going to take that as a compliment. I don't know if it's intended as such, but Luke Dean. I'm going to have to look this person up. Somebody also said, you look like my manager Skylar tonight. So we've got Luke Dean and random guy named Skylar. Put it on the list. It is very funny. I've been meaning to make a video about just like the, what I think is the hilarity of the volatility of internet comments. Like, I'll do these live streams when I'm hitting balls, and people will, you know, like, truly sometimes within minutes of each other, somebody will be like, what tour do you play on? Because they think I'm really good. And then somebody else will be like, are you a 12 handicap? Which to me is just a very funny range of outcomes. Because I struggle to see how it could be both, and I guess maybe it depends on your perspective. Or I'm just getting trolled and not noticing it. I don't know. Hard to say. All right. Last one. And maybe we'll clean up and make a few swings. Let's see what time it is. don't be like that now. You know what? I'm getting nervous about not having enough. I'm just gonna do it again. Just save ourselves the ordeal. Boom. And that is how you regrip 14 clubs. Woo! We did it. The hat and hair just secure it. Okay? I'm really gonna have to look this person up. If you guys are enjoying the stream, you want to hit subscribe. Really does help me out. Shout out to you guys, all the new subscribers. We are headed towards 3K, guys. Crazy stuff. Over 1,000 new subscribers in the last month, I'm pretty sure. Lots of cool stuff happening. Lots of good stuff happening in the YouTube space. Golf's doing great. Just had the US Open. Man, how good was that tournament, guys? Watching those guys get their butts kicked at Oakmont, I personally really enjoyed it. It's not relatable to me to watch them shoot like 20 under par. All right, I'll catch up on the chat here in a second, guys. Woo, baby. That was quite the effort. What do I do for a living? I work in consulting for now. Well, I'll probably do that for a while. Just given I like the mission stuff. I work with nonprofits, so, you know, like universities and hospitals. I would love to find a way to do this for a living. Right? We did just, the channel got monetized recently, which was pretty cool. So shout out to you guys, all the support. Couldn't do it without you guys, seriously. So that's probably still a ways off. We did just start. I mean, the fact that I'm at almost, I don't know, like 2,500 subs in just a few months. I mean, I posted my first video in January. So it's not like it's been years and years of doing this. So I'm really excited about what the future holds. Hopefully just keep getting better at this, you know, making stuff that's interesting for you guys, that people want to come back and watch, and yeah. What brand are you using? Pause. Yeah, pause is right. He's a golf nerd. Bryson is. What is Hadi? I don't know what that is. Austin said hi. Mike says, I have a 3-day golf outing. Today I slammed my hand in a loader door. Oh, man, just above the wrist. Found out my GPA is in really bad shape at the hospital. Talk about a mental game. Oh, yeah, that sounds not great, man. I hope you heal up quick. Oof, that sounds not fun. Josh says the course looked nightmarish. Loved how hard they made the course. The opening was interesting. Hey, one of our friends from Korea is here. Hello. Shout out to you guys. So cool how, because of the internet, right, we can, you know, communicate and interact with people from truly all over the planet. I mean, I had people from like Papua New Guinea in here the other day. You know, we have a ton of supporters from like Korea and that part of the world, South America, London, Scotland. Some of our, you know, recurring viewers are from Scotland. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much it. That is, you know, that's exactly what it looks like to regrip 14 clubs. You know, mistakes and TDM all included. Dude missed the cut and destroyed the locker room. Oh, yeah, I saw that. Wyndham Clark. I heard he got banned, but I don't know if that's true. That might have been fake news that I saw. But I also wouldn't be surprised at a place like Oakmont. They're just like, dude, we don't need Wyndham Clark showing up to break our lockers again. Like, what are we talking about? Yeah, get rid of all the excess. I also desperately need to find those hybrid head covers, which I know are somewhere. Now that I've got a hybrid in the bag again, pretty cool. All right, so we're gonna unplug this stuff. Whew. And after all that, wouldn't it be crazy to maybe make some swings? Somebody said Rory should have gotten penalized. I don't disagree. I think I kind of agree with that. I mean, I'm not gonna like hate on the guy for doing it, because I mean, Tiger did it. I get it, right? You know, it's emotional. You were expecting to perform at a high level. But yeah, it's a bad look, right? I think it's a really bad look. And, you know, if they were like, hey, dude, 2-stroke penalty every time you're going to do that, I mean, I think it would work. He'd probably think twice about it. Because he doesn't care about the money, right? If they're, you know, they could do fines for some of these guys for this behavior, but they're like, dude, you know, I got $100 million in the bank. Like, you want 10 grand for throwing a club? Like, sure. But if guys start losing tournaments because of it, right? Be like, yeah, dude, you know, you could have won that tournament, but you got, you know, 2 club throwing penalties. Like, that might change the behavior. I think it really might. Wow. Look at that. You know, I'm realizing I should have just sucked it up and done the rest of them while I had the stuff out, but, you know, that's okay. Wow, really pleased with how these came out. And you know what? Because of how long it takes, some of these have been drying for like, you know, probably a couple hours. Oh, that felt terrible, as one would expect. More on the body, to be clear. The grips feel great. Yeah, really good. They feel really, really good. Oh. Don't get old, guys. Your back will hurt all the time. I really shouldn't complain. I've had some really, really debilitating back pain before. And this is not that, right? This is just some regular back pain. Let's see if we can't get this fixed. He should be fine for destroying the course. Yeah, I agree with that. Shout out to Fish. Have you ever played at Augusta? I've never played at Augusta. I have driven by a couple times. I used to go to Augusta for work. But no, I never played, never been there. I'd love to go. I've heard it's, you know, just golf paradise, right? And if you guys have a hookup, I probably would have to cover my tattoos at Augusta. I feel like they'd be like, dude, you're not just rocking out there sleeved up. Oh. You know what else I want to do? I should make one of those videos that's like, the video ends when I drop the ball, but it's just me bouncing, you know, juggling like this. I don't know if it would go for like 5 minutes, or it could go for 3 hours. I mean, well, you know, start jinxing yourself. The golf gods are going to say, not today, but... I would need like some music or something, because I think I might go nuts if I had to just stand here and just do this. Did you play college? I played club golf in college, which was great. I got to go to a great school, and I wasn't as good of a player coming out of high school as I am now. I think I could have played Division II golf. Our club team was about the same level of competitiveness, right? We were between like +2 and 2 handicaps, and scores were like in the high 60s to mid 70s usually. So but also, I mean, I as you guys know, don't drink anymore. But at the time, partying in college, if you show up hungover for a tournament and it's club golf, nobody cares too much. Kyle, are you in Georgia? Nope. I know someone who worked there. He didn't like working there. That sounds right. I can't imagine it's the best place to work. Shane said hi. What's up, Shane? I'm curious how they feel. My buddies feel like they turn a little my hand with ball contact. What do you mean, Charleston? Are you talking about the grips or the... Elijah said hi. What's up, Elijah? I am slightly worried that I'm going to have a tough time getting all these clubs to fit in my actual golf bag. You know? Oof. Oof. Whoops. Oh, I gotta actually stand where you can see me. That might help. What I've been working on, guys, is just feeling like this club just kind of falls on the ball, right? Like I'm not putting any extra effort into the downswing. I'm not trying to swing fast. I'm almost just kind of like dropping the club on the ball is what it feels like to me. And I've been hitting some really wonderful golf shots with that feel. New grips feel great. Really great. I'm going to move this driver because it's making me nervous. It's making me nervous. I'm going to hit something. Shaft twist a little in the grip. If you were on this hill and the slope is going down, how do you hit it? Yeah, so dog, you're going to want to align yourself, your shoulders, with that slope, right? So if you're on a down slope, right, where this foot's higher, right, make sure that you are tilting, right? I'm going to imagine, right? But try to keep your shoulders level to that slope, right? That's going to keep that low point of your swing where you expect it to be, right? And just make sure that you stay in the shot. And by that, I mean, don't lose your spine angle and come out of it, right? You'll hit it thin. But especially important on those downhill ones to really stay in your spine angle. I saw somebody said they were having a hard time getting their mid-size grips into the bag. So I might really be in the market for a new bag. Oh, it's so good, guys. It's so good. Finally have time to practice regularly, and it's just doing wonders for my swing. All right. Is that projector a TrackMan? No, I wish. No projector or anything in here. That's just there for, watching movies and stuff in here sometimes. New irons. Nope, not new to me. I just finished regripping all these clubs, Kyle. So that's what they're doing out. But we've been playing the Tacoma 301 CBs here for a while now. These are awesome. Is there give because of the thick rubber? I don't think so. I haven't felt that yet. I didn't feel that with the mid-size grips. They definitely shouldn't twist in your hand. They might have been installed wrong, potentially. But yeah, these are great looking irons. Really good forged feel with the Takomo irons. It's like I almost just can't help it. Like when you're swinging it this good, it's like I'm just having fun hitting. You know? Woo! Love that you're doing this for the people. Can't say enough how much a lesson helped me. Figured out I was overdoing the firing hips to the point that I was getting super stuck. I hit a nice draw. That's awesome, Binsky. Yeah, shout out to Binsky for a nice comment in the chat. I really appreciate that. Make a few more swings here, guys, and then we are gonna call it for the night. But if you've enjoyed what we're doing here, hanging out, and you want to hit that subscribe button, I really appreciate it. And stay tuned with the notifications, because we're gonna start ramping up the streams. We've been managing like 2 or 3 times a week. I think we're gonna try for 5, 6, 7 days a week. Eventually, once we're a little more settled, whether that's in here hitting balls, answering questions, right, or out on the range, on the putting green. We're still gonna have shorts coming. We're still gonna have the putting series for a couple more weeks. See, this is where I got to be careful with my takeaway, right? Because I can feel it starting to get a little the other way, right? I have to pay a special attention, keeping that club head out, keeping the hands in on the way back, right? My tendency has always been to get a little inside this way. Pretty good right there. That was thin. All right, I'm going to let these clubs dry. Thanks for being here, guys. Really appreciate all the support. One more chance to hit that subscribe button. Cody, it's a Net Return Pro. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe for me. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for being here.